The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. And we are so thrilled. We have quite the show. Joining me is Tonya Excho, the founder and director of this weekend's New Orleans Ragtime Festival, here to preview some performances. Welcome. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, sure. Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hello, Peg.
And also here for the first time, New Orleans photographer Cheryl Gerber, who will share some of her wonderful images from some of her books and try to talk about all three of them at once, right? Great to see you. Hello. Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and theatercriticism.com. Hello,
Hey,
Mr.
Peg.
Allen. And Gregory Schrammel. And oh my goodness, he is the co-director and founder of the New Orleans Ballet Theater, who will be talking to us about some of the free performances that he has planned this weekend. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Great to see you.
Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. And Poppy, great to hear some restaurant news.
Oh, you know, Peggy, there is just so much great development going on in New Orleans right now. And I got to visit the Blackbirds for the first time. And the Blackbird is a new boutique hotel. It only has 13 rooms. It's the most beautiful renovation in this lovely old Garden District home in the lower Garden District. And there is a fabulous pool area with a bar, and the menu is just really lovely. It's small bites, but enough small bites that you can make a meal. Look at how lovely it is. And so I'm talking Brussels sprouts, the best fried Brussels sprouts I've had in quite some time, marinated shrimp, Greek meatballs, there's salads and sandwiches, everything from a Caesar salad to a burger to a BLT is on the menu. They have a happy hour between 3 and 5 p.m. every day. And the super cool thing they have is a pool program. And note, it's 21 and over, so there won't be any children. And there's no fee, just a requirement to spend $25 in food and drink Monday through Thursday, or $50 per person Friday and Saturday. But you get to eat and drink it up. And anyway, this new hotel group is simply transforming the Lower Garden District. They have music down there every other Thursday, the first and the third. Craig Klein and the New Orleans All-Stars are down there. There was a tap dancer even with a little floor that he put down. It was just divine. And now, one block closer to Canal is the Garden District Hotel, which is a much larger facility, and it's got pickleball courts and a fitness center and a spa. And then on May 15th, they are opening their pool. It's a saltwater pool, and it's going to feature the only swim-up bar in New Orleans, the first and only. And then coming soon, when you go to the Blackbird, look at the construction across the street. There's a much larger, beautiful old home that is also being turned into a hotel that's not named yet. And speaking of hotels, everybody I know remembers Josephine Estelle at the former Ace property. Well, I am here to tell you that now the hotel is a Hyatt property called the Barnett, and Chef Brian Burns is doing some of the most delicious food. The mussels were out of this world. His pastas are an absolute work of art, all handmade. Gemelli with crispy roast duck, tagliatelle with prosciutto and parmesan. There's radiatori with crab meat, and rigatoni in a vodka and Calabrian chili sauce. The side dishes like fennel and heirloom bean salad and the sautéed rapini are divine. The desserts are beautiful, tiramisu, there's cannoli, panna cotta. You can have a little espresso martini with your dessert. If you love costera and Ostria Lupo, you will love, love, love Bruto Americana. It's from the same restaurant group. And I want to tell you that one of the most impressive things was the service. The service was impeccable. The food was delicious. So check it out. And then, don't forget this Saturday, it's the 10th annual Brennan's Turtle Parade. When they take all the turtles from the courtyard on parade. It starts at Ralph's corporate office on the corner of Bienville and Charters. It goes up to St. Peter and then down Royal, ending at Brennan's for a champagne toast and reception. And if you've never been, it is so much fun. The turtles get blessed when they return to the courtyard. It's a wonderful, wonderful event.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. And Tonya, what a weekend you're going to have, and it kicks off actually tonight, but through Sunday. And I'm excited about a lot of the activities, but especially the new Leviathan Oriental Foxtrot Orchestra tomorrow night, huh?
Yes.
So exciting, and we have some footage, but we'll talk just generally. How did this come about, this Ragtime Festival? Because I know you've been at the heart of it for so many years.
Yes, so the Ragtime Festival started in 2016, and this year will be year 9.
Wow.
So I'm pretty happy about that fact of it.
Yeah.
Sorry. But tonight we'll kick off the, tonight, oh my gosh. All right, sorry guys. Tonight is going to be Skinny Tuba at Madame Vic's.
Tonight, Thursday, and we see new Leviathan who'll be performing on Friday.
Correct.
Which is great.
Right, right.
And yeah, so a little bit late for Skinny Tuba because we're on the show while they're performing. But look at this. Here's some footage that you get to see a little bit of what you're talking about in terms of dancing and performing too, huh?
Right. Yes. Okay, so tomorrow at Chapel of the Holy Comforter is going to be New Leviathan. They are composed of a group of 18 to 24 people, and it's going to be amazing. The youth that comes out of these gentlemen are awesome. They've been around since, I don't know,
70s.
the 70s.
The early 70s, yes.
Yeah, so they're all...
And some of us have too.
Yeah, so they're kind of getting up there in age, but they have people that come in right behind them, and they're
George
they're amazing.
Schmidt and John Kraft, and oh my goodness, the list is long.
It is.
Okay, and then on Saturday, you've got the Ragtime Showcase after the new Leviathan here, and that's right by UNO. We should point out the Chapel of the Holy Comforter, very close to UNO.
Yes.
And then, so the Ragtime Showcase will be in the quarter, won't it?
Correct. It's going to be at the National Park Service, which is at 419 Decatur Street. The showcase is going to be from 11 to 4.
Wow.
And if you want me to list the people.
No, we've got it right there.
Right,
wow.
Right.
It is. The New Orleans Ragtime Orchestra. Oh, my goodness. And Matt Lemler. That's illustrious, that list. Tonya, it really, really is. And it's free. This one is free.
Correct. That is right.
Gee whiz. And then we move on, though, to Seva Vinay on Sunday.
Yes. And Seva has been doing the Ragtime Festival with me for about 5 years now. And it's a string quartet or trio. He mixes it up. But hearing the strings play ragtime is really something to cherish.
Wow, and that's on Sunday, and that is actually at a gallery. How interesting.
It's at Julian Mack Fine Art, which is on Magazine Street in the Garden District.
Now, what makes you want to do this? Because you're very devoted.
I am. So many years ago, I had a friend that talked about not having a ragtime venue in New Orleans. And so there's a lot of the seasoned jazz musicians that love playing ragtime, but there was really no venue for them to have it. So I got together with my friend and we put together we went over notes and put it together. And so now that was the start of it, and we're still here trucking along.
God bless you. The New Orleans Ragtime Festival.com for all the details. But I'm just so glad you keep on plugging.
Yep. Thank you.
Very good. All right. And then we move over to Miss Cheryl. And speaking of keep on plugging, wow. My goodness, you've, of course, you're a freelance photographer, but you've been Gambit, New Orleans Magazine, the New York Times, the list is long, but three books. And what we're going to do is simply give everybody a taste, because we could be talking about one of those books all day. But we'll see some images from your first book, and tell us what you were doing in the first book, what your vision was.
The first book came out right at the 10-year anniversary of Katrina. When the storm was over, I felt this immense urgency to photograph the culture of New Orleans. So after 10 years, I had seen so much of New Orleans, the good, the rebuilding, but also some of the neighborhoods that weren't coming back.
And this is New Orleans Life and Death in the Big Easy.
Yes, New Orleans Life and Death in the Big Easy. And it starts off very happy, the way one person would see New Orleans, a lot of the festivals and celebrations. Then it takes more of a turn to the darker side of New Orleans, because we have to live with hurricanes and pandemics and that sort of thing.
I remember Mr. Okra so well. He used to pass by our house.
I love this. I do these photo juxtapositions, and there's Mr. Okra with a Barkus paying homage to him. We start looking like our pets. And
But when you say dark side, of course, we're talking about that.
Yeah, that's midway through the book, and that was me up on the I-10 photographing the cars leaving out, and then at the Superdome later for the rest of the people as the shelter of last resort.
Yeah. And then fast forward to then the second book, Cherchez la Femme, New Orleans Women.
Yeah, that came about because in 2016 we had a presidential election that sent women to the streets, and I'd photographed protests for 30-something years. I'd never seen one as big as the Women's March. So I went home and I said, I'm going to do a story for Gambit about women. Then it turned into a book. You know.
You've got some great photos,
and I think Poppy's in the book.
Poppy's in the book. Yes, that's right.
Of course, Irma Thomas. It has like 11 or 12 different chapters.
I love the Marie Antoinette.
I love them. There's a whole chapter on Dancing Crews, and
Diane Honoré.
Everybody knows and loves Diane Honoré on Mardi Gras Day.
Yes,
as a baby doll.
Absolutely. And the Dead Beans, you've got quite a few on there. And then Danse Macabre is the most recent one. Let me just show Poppy, though. Look at this. Poppy, that's a very nice photo.
With the color.
Yes.
And look who she's next to, Joanne.
Oh, that's right, Joanne Clevenger. That's
What a
right,
compliment.
Joanne Clevenger. Love that. Okay, so then Danse Macabre. Tell us, that's the newest one.
Yeah, that came about during the pandemic. I was just looking at over all my photographs, and then of course when Hurricane Ida was hitting, all of these photos were like playing in my mind, like, you know how they say your life flashes before your eyes? Well, all these photographs were coming about, and I realized how much life and death are tied to each other in New Orleans, and how we celebrate death. And in this photo you see the crew of Dead Beans, which is a spin-off of the crew of Red Beans, and Mardi Gras Morning. Actually, that was from 2 weeks before the lockdown. That Mardi Gras morning, we got up to go see the North Side Skull and Bones Gang, which is a 200-year-old black masking tradition to remind us that what is the very essence of Mardi Gras, that life is fleeting. So you better get your stuff together before it's too late.
And this was really tragic.
And this was Ravel Andrews, a young 18-year-old who was shot for looking at somebody after summer camp. You know, it's so tragic.
But you have a wonderful website in CherylGerber.photoshelter.com. Okay, but I mean, we see your work, thankfully, on all kinds of different publications.
Thank you.
But the books are very much available. And,
anywhere, all local bookstores.
Local bookstores and online as well. But I'm so glad you're with us. Thank you. And Alan.
So it's a shame that the Jefferson Performing Arts only allows 2 weeks for most of their shows at the JPAC facility, because the production of Billy Elliot is ending this weekend. The run's nearly over. The key to that production, of course, is Charlie Stover. in the role of young Billy. He becomes smitten with ballet. Here he is in ballet class with Mrs. Wilkinson, played by the talented and lovely Leslie Castay, who's well suited for this role with songs like Shine. And as Billy, Charlie is also joined by Noah Kuhn, who acts as the older Billy in the Dream Ballet, in which the young Billy flies into the air. Parker Porter Dufresne plays gender-fluid Michael, and one of the highlights is the song Expressing Yourself, in which Billy and Michael express their unconventionality. The music by Elton John, of course, is quite special. It's important to remember that the action takes place during the coal miners' national strike in 1984 and 85, and the anger of the county's people at Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher is really expressed by the derisive school children there and others in Merry Christmas, Maggie Thatcher. A shout out also to Louis Dodosset as Jackie, Billy's striking coal miner father, who delivers a fantastic performance in the lead as someone who comes to terms with being a supportive father, even at personal risk to himself. Directed by Kenneth Beck, the show, of course, ends its run this Sunday. Meanwhile, Tennessee Williams' Orpheus Descending continues at the Marquette Theater this week, directed by Augustin Carrero. Benjamin Doherty plays a handsome drifter, Xavier Valentine, and Leslie Clavery is the tormented and loveless Lady Torrance. Both deliver exceptional performances. Like a latter-day Orpheus, Valentine is the desire of all of the women in Two Rivers County. He arrives on the scene brandishing a guitar that honors the blues, not a lyre. But Lady is haunted by her past, including the killing of her father by the racist townspeople there. Again, one of is her own husband. Much of this play borrows from Greek theater and mythology. Valentine is also pursued by a past lover, Carol Cottrell, played by the sultry Charlie Carr. And there's the sheriff's wife, V. Talbot, who, like Cassandra, predicts the tragic and horrible end for Valentine and Lady. So after a decade of success on Broadway with Glass Menagerie, Streetcar Named Desire, and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Orpheus Descending was considered Tennessee Williams' first flop on Broadway, but it does have its moments, and the sound design by Nick Shackelford, the scenic design by Nathan Arthur, and the lighting by Diane K. Bass are all exceptional. Orpheus Descending continues for another 2 weekends. Meanwhile, the NOLA Project is presenting a very interesting piece called Every Brilliant Thing, a one-man play starring Alex Martinez Wallace. It's directed by Natalie Boyd in her directorial debut. The play starts with a man who is recalling a list that he began writing as a youngster as a life-affirming exercise following a suicide attempt by his mother. The play is an immersive piece with no set and only the actor interfacing with the audience members. The list takes on a life of its own as the things that make you smile, like number 7, People Falling Down, or those like number 2000, Coffee, are read by the audience members. The play is an examination of the importance of life and how we perceive and really how living is made possible by the exploration of what makes us happy and contented. Here's the happy and contented Alex Martinez Wallace after last Sunday's matinee. It's a rare piece of theater where one person occupies a space for 90 minutes in a very friendly and inviting manner, and we deal with some pretty tough topics like suicide, but heartfelt subjects also like love. That's the NOLA Project's Every Brilliant Thing. Meanwhile, on Bayou Road at the Andre Caillou and Latinx Theater Commons, Azucar, that means sugar, is an all-day new play reading, and it'll be held at the former St. Rose de Leo Church. Among the playwrights, Adrienne Dawes and Dupe, Miranda Gonzalez's Mascogos, Teddy Alexis Rodriguez's How Did Edward Lose His Accent, and Rebecca Vega Romero's Smalls and Talls, a duet for 2 women. For tickets, which are only $10, click on the QR code that you see right there on the screen on that poster. There's also music and entertainment at night with Jose Torres Tama and others until 11 p.m., and it's all on Bayou Road. Meanwhile, this Friday and Sunday, we will have the Cajun Cowboy Elixir of Love. It's also featuring Amanda Shaw. How will Nemorino make Adina fall in love with him? Could it be that he has just the love potion that's necessary? Find out what is the Elixir of Love when the New Orleans Opera Association has this gem by Donizetti. You may even shed a furtive tear and una furtiva lagrima when you see it. And for those of you not wanting to throw away your shot, next week is the beginning of a 12-day run for Hamilton. The record-breaking Broadway musical rethinks the story of the Founding Fathers by Lin-Manuel Miranda. It returns to the Sanger, starring Tyler Fauntleroy and Jimmy J.J. Jeter. And while it's mostly a male cast, don't forget the Schuyler sisters, Angelica, Eliza, and Peggy. And that'll be on hand as well. So work. Meanwhile, you can download the Hamilton app on your phones to have a shot at the Ham for Ham lottery, where you can win tickets to Hamilton for just $10. And finally, Peg, the 11th New Orleans Giant Puppet Festival is being held this weekend. Check out their website for details, and that's about all I have.
All right, New Orleans GiantPuppetFest.com. Gregory, once again, welcome. You all have been very, very busy with a performance, two performances that are absolutely free at UNO. Tell us a little bit about them.
So it's a collaboration with Maroney Opera and New Orleans Ballet Theater. When Diogo de Lima came to town 15 years ago, we immediately recognized his talent and we brought him in to choreograph for the company. And I'm so excited that he's the new director at Maroney Opera. And I said, let's get together and do this show. It's free to the public, and that's so important. You know, tickets are $60, $75, and then you have Ticketmaster on top of that. This is free, and it's at that beautiful amphitheater at UNO, which is, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's in New Orleans. It's like Wolf Trap.
Yes, it's so pretty. And we have some footage from one of the performances. Let's see, Hannah Wang Pao and Nicholas Garofin from the Corsair. A little bit of an excerpt from the Corsair while we're talking. You all, I mean, it's really quite the experience. It's many pieces, isn't it?
Sure, there's 4 pieces. So we just had our audition, and we had over 600 applicants. We had 80 people fly into town. So we have a trainee program. So they're not, you know, offered full-time jobs, but they are training with our professionals. So that sort of leads in. It's the first piece is a trainee piece. Then Le Corsair, and then Maroney. And then my wife, Marjorie, has a piece that's based on the Beat Generation.
I love it. So 2 performances, Friday and Saturday. Now, people can bring their chairs and their blankets and their wine and cheese or whatever they want, I guess, too.
Well, they can bring their blankets and their wine and cheese, but it is a sloped audience, so chairs might be a little difficult.
Maybe the blankets instead.
I think a blanket's a better choice, but there is a flat area in the front. And of course, being an outdoor performance, weather permitting.
Of course, weather permitting. And just to say, though, all the different things you all do throughout the year, like the Nutcracker and other public performances at the Orpheum in many instances, but also you're a full-blown school, too, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. So there's Schrammel Conservatory, which is the picture you see behind me. And then the company New Orleans Ballet Theater are separate entities. But along with New Orleans Ballet Theater is the trainee program. So all of these people come from around the country. So it plays perfectly. You can go through our school and then the pre-professional trainee program. And then you go into New Orleans Ballet Theater. And it's we have, I think, 17 or 18 full-time professional dancers slated for next year.
Thank you very much. NewOrleansBalletTheater.com. I love your backdrop in your studio. Thank you.
I love this
Glad
room.
You're with us.
It's sort of fun. I feel like I'm an anchor for the news.
I'm telling you. And now, Picks of the Week, Poppy.
Peggy, I made a grievous error last week, and I was talking about hogs like it was last weekend, and it was just a senior moment. It's this weekend. All the good things I said last week apply. Friday and Saturday, don't miss it.
Alan.
Well, you know, Mahler was a very competitive composer. He knew that Beethoven had 9 symphonies. He was trying to make 10 symphonies, but he decided to take his last symphony and rename it Song of the Earth, Das Lied von der Erde. For those of you who want to see it, this would really be his 10th, but he didn't make it. He only had 9. This is the Song of the Earth, Thursday. Check it out, and I'll see you at the theater.
Thank you. And now my picks. WYES kicks off a brand new national cooking series Saturday at 9 a.m. WYES TV, streaming on WYES.org and on the WYES and PBS apps. Interested in your roots? On Saturday also, check out a whole day called Gen Fest, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Dillard Professional School and Science Building on their campus. NOLAcityArchives.org for details about that. It's a full day of all kinds of great things. And we've got the Family Pirate Day in Algiers Point, starting at 10 a.m. Saturday, 430 Powder Street. Music, stories, and a big garage sale, and lots of downtown galleries also on Saturday. Saturday's a busy day. Will be open during Saturday's Jammin' on Julia from 5 to 9 p.m. Also many uptown too. The Piety Market will be held this Sunday from noon to 5, and that's at St. Peter and Paul. Plenty of vintage clothing, art, and a wide assortment of items. And violinist Sheepy and the Hen will perform. And now we leave you with exclusive footage of the New Orleans Opera Association's Elixir of Love. Here is a montage of this comic opera and rising National Opera star and Orleanian Lindsay Reynolds, who plays Adina. She sings the aria, translated meaning, "Take it, through me you are free," and helping to free the one she loves. Thanks to videographer Craig Kramer, and thank you so much for watching. Enjoy.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com.